I had an extra shirt, and I threw a shirt over his face. I had a wrench in my pocket, and I hit him in the face with a wrench. You know what I'm saying? His face was all bloody. And next thing I know, I look back, it's a fucking top flight security at the high school hawking me down, like running down, trying to chase me and shit. I had it on the inside of my spare tire. And I don't know how the hell he didn't smell it.
Oh, he pulled you over?
He pulled me over. He was like, hey. I mean, my tags was bad and everything. It was fucked up, bro.
We're here for the introduction of In and Out. It's a movement to change the world. It represents all things and all of us at all times. It's about freeing ourselves of any prison.
Welcome to In and Out Podcast, where extraordinary people who have been released from some form of prison, mental or physical, share extraordinary stories with us about overcoming hardship, pain, and struggle. I am Eric Giralt, your host, and today I'm having a conversation with Tampa Boi Beatz as he takes us along his journey of beating the longest odds and achieving great success. What's happening, Tampa Boi Beatz?
How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you coming out and sharing this time with us.
Absolutely.
You take us along these journeys of life and give us some real good game. Just, telling us the different struggles that you've been through and how you were able to overcome that, mindset change, perspectives, and what have you. So I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. Mm-hmm. Tell us about some of the things you got going on. We know you're a super producer, one of the biggest producers, produce all types of people, from some of the biggest artists to some of the biggest preachers in the world. So just give us a little bit about what you're doing.
Real talk. My name is Tampa Boi Beatz. I'm a music producer, songwriter, engineer. I've been working since I was a teen, and I'm here in Atlanta now. So yeah, we here. We just trying to change the soundscape of the environment and shift the culture. So
all right, that's what's up. So I know sometimes people don't like name dropping and everything, but you're a producer, and this is legitimate. This is not really name dropping. Give us some of the names that some of the people that you have credits with, or that you've produced before that that you've been associated with.
Absolutely. I've been in the studio with countless people, from businesses to artists. To speak on artists, I've met Drake at a very young area in his career.
Wow.
I've been in studios with Lil Wayne, French Montana, Currency. Done some work with Currency. Keke Palmer, her new TV show, Key TV. TD Jakes.
Wow, TD Jakes.
Yeah. So I've done some music, for his sermon and stuff like that, and I've also worked with Lil Baby. Done some stuff with him.
All right, that's what's up.
Got some unreleased, stuff like that. So.
All right, but nonetheless, you were working with him. You was in the studio and doing work with him.
Absolutely.
That's what's up.
And as far as businesses, I work with business, TV, film, single license, and stuff like that. And Google is one of the clients as well. It's one of my biggest clients.
Okay, dope. So you seem to be super well-rounded because you work with not just rappers. You mentioned TD Jakes. You mentioned some of the hottest rappers in the game. You work with businesses. Yeah. Where does that, well-roundedness, how did you get into working with so many different groups, from businesses to entertainers to musicians?
Really relationships. A lot of people, make it like they speak on it as talent is the only thing that you need in this business, but we all know that is not true. That's kind of like a rookie mistake when people come in and be like, oh man, I'm just the hottest. I'm the hottest. And it's like, I felt like that for a long time. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I didn't know how to get my stuff heard at all. So I started doing beat battles to get my name heard out there. I was working at a CD stand in a Union Station Mall, which is now film. It's a film production studio. Yeah, like all the big places go there now.
Wow.
Like, you see Denzel acting in there and all kinds of people. Yeah, it's a huge Universal Pictures, everything. They shut the whole mall down and made it into like a production studio. So I used to actually work when it was a mall as a teenager, and I used to sell the Lil Wayne CDs, $5, 2 for $10, 2 for $7, whatever.
Dope.
And this lady named Jazz pulled up on me. She had gave me a flyer. This is back when people was actually handing out flyers and stuff.
Right.
And that's how you got your sales. That's how you got your clients.
And street marketing.
And street marketing.
That's
So
what's
I
up.
respected it, and I never seen nothing like it. It was a beat battle on the fly. I'm like, beat battle? This is crazy. This is interesting. So I attended the beat battle, and I never seen so many people, so many creatives in one building in my life. It kind of felt like, I don't know if you've seen 8 Mile.
Of course. Yeah,
8
no
Mile.
doubt. It's a classic.
It kind of reminded me of that.
Get out of here.
Feeling like.
Well, with
you know,
beats.
With beats, though. You know, we battling with beats. So that just, man, it was amazing. And that's where I started getting my name and building my infrastructure for Tampa Boi Beatz. You know what I'm saying?
Dope. So, Tampa, I noticed you mentioned a lot of people think that it's just the talent that can get you in the door. That's funny because I was just having that conversation today with a real good friend of mine and somebody else on the team.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by that? Explain that a little more. So it's not just talent?
It's not
it's
just
just not
talent.
always the dopest, the dopest musician or the dopest rapper, the dopest singer that gets put on?
No, right. You back then you would make it in the door with just talent because the managers and the agents and the executive was real hungry because hip hop was still kind of new back 50 years ago, 40 years ago. So it was like shit. If Def Jam is looking for artists, they was really on the streets looking for artists. You got your Russell Simmons and back then, but times are different now. Everything is microwavable. Everything is easy to find. If it's 1,001 producers that's just like me, that's probably 16, 17 that can make a hot beat just like me. But some of them would never get that opportunity because they don't be outside.
Okay.
Some of them would never get a placement because they don't talk to the right people. You see what I mean?
Right.
Because I've had beats that I felt like Jay-Z should have been on, Kanye should have been on, that never made it out of the archive because I wasn't outside.
Gotcha.
So
what's one of the other biggest elements? Is it, what is one of the other biggest elements? Is it relationships? Is it, sometimes people say you got to be placed in like a lot of artists, starving artists or hungry artists. Sometimes they feel like they got to be compromised in some form or another.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, have you ever seen anything like that in the music industry?
compromising.
Like compromising their dignity or, like female artists trying to get on and things of that nature?
I've seen that before. I've seen people feel like they have to uphold a certain image. And it's sad because it lacks originality, and hip hop is based, and music is based on originality. So what I try to do when I have my clients, I tell people, hey man, like just be you 100%. Like you don't have to sacrifice your morals in order to get where you need to be. You feel me? And,
Gotcha.
No amount of money and no dollar amount should get you to sacrifice some of your morals, So
No doubt.
I do it. My whole perspective is I have it my way. I try to make it my way. You feel me? I look up to the people like Jay-Z when he started Rockefeller and Dame Dash and people like No Limit, Master P and stuff like that. They made their own like industry, and they've got funded by different industries, but they had to sell that idea. You feel me? They had to sell Rockefeller before anybody even gave them a chance. You see what I mean? They had to sell No Limit and sell Cash Money to a big company like an umbrella, like a Universal or Warner Brothers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you have to build that leverage first. And once you build that leverage, then people are going to come to you.
No doubt.
Be like, oh man, I want to work with you. We want to sign you. We want to sign your company. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I tell people, build your leverage first. And once you do that, then the bidding war goes.
Right. Yeah, I like that. That's impressive for real.
Yeah, it's on.
And I'm really impressed by the fact that, like, the history and like those dudes that you talking about, Master P, Jay-Z and them, they pioneers in the game.
Yeah.
And the way that they did it, they really even changed like the whole mindset and perspective of how music is, like, especially in our community, how people doing music business.
Yeah.
So you've been in the game for a while. How old were you or young were you when you first started getting in the music game?
I started making beats at like 15.
15?
Yep, started making beats at 15. Started taking it serious around 16, 17. Then I started putting myself out there to the beat battles at like 17. So I was making, when I hear Kanye said, making 5 beats a day for 3 summers, I deserve to do these numbers. I was trying to double that and match that, and
Okay.
I respected that grind and I related to it so much. And then Kanye was one of my favorite artists growing up because he been in a car accident, I've been in a car accident. He was doing 5 beats a day, I was doing 5 beats a day. So I was like trying to emulate everything. We did samples, he did samples, like. So it just, man, I just love it. It's, you got to start with the love of it first.
That's dope. That's dope. Kanye was one of the artists you looked up to?
Yeah, absolutely. Because when I was a teenager, I was in a car accident and my car flipped over twice. I fell asleep on the road. Yeah, and it was on the south side. And
South side of where?
Of Atlanta, kind of like Union City, out that way, by Riverdale, out that way. And I remember like yesterday, my brother was like, hey man, don't go out right now, I went out and I ain't really know Atlanta like that. I was still fresh to Atlanta and I'm driving around and it was late. And I passed out and hit the side of the median and flipped my car. Ever since then, I was like, yeah, like it's time, it's go time.
Wow.
Yeah,
so that, thank God you're still here, brother.
Absolutely.
Because that's crazy. Did you learn something from that experience? That's almost like, did you end up hospitalized? Was the car totaled or what was the deal?
Car was totaled. I still got shit on my knuckles and all that.
Years later.
And scratches on my face. But I had to break out the windshield. It was like a movie, man. That shit was crazy.
So what did you learn from the fact that you could have lost your life?
That life is short. I had a couple near-death experiences.
A couple of near-death experiences?
Yeah, and it started when I was a child. So, I actually drowned when I was a kid.
You drowned when you was a kid?
Yeah.
Did you grow up in Georgia?
I grew up in Florida.
You grew up in Florida?
Grew up in Tampa, Florida.
That's what's up.
And I spent a majority of my whole childhood in Tampa, Florida. Then when I became a teenager, I moved out here to Atlanta, like late teens, 16, 17. I moved out here to Atlanta, and I was back and forth from Florida, and to Atlanta, back home. And when I was a child, I was like, I want to say I was 3 years old, and I was like playing with my ball, and I had a babysitter, and my ball was like kind of went to the lake or whatever, and I went and tried to go after the ball. And then I ended up drowning, and they had to bring me back to life. Yeah, so I was like dead for a few hours.
Do you know who it was that saved you?
I think it was the paramedics.
Okay.
My mom came back and tried to get me together.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had to learn everything over. They told me I had to learn everything over from when I was born all the way to 3. So it was crazy. It was crazy. So ever since then, I've been like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
I'm supposed to be here. Real shit.
And that's how. Do you feel that, like, knowing that those things happen to you, and you blessed, you say you're supposed to be here, you approach life? Do you feel, with that perspective every day?
Absolutely. I feel like you gotta appreciate everything. You gotta even appreciate the bad traffic. You gotta appreciate everything, man. You might go outside and motherfucker, he might cut you off. You're like, all right, it's all good. Don't even trip about it. Like, just keep it moving.
That's what's up.
If you seen real shit in your life, you're not gonna trip about the small shit. You know
That's
what I'm
real.
saying? And I feel like I done seen and done it all. So it's like, at the end of the day, I dodged a lot of bullets. I dodged a lot of crazy things where it could have ended my life completely. So, and I was playing on the wild side. You feel me? I didn't really fear death. Like,
What do you mean by playing on the wild side? Like, can you go a little deeper?
Yeah, street life. You feel me? My family is come from a very street background. You know what I'm saying? I got both of my sides of the family are from the islands. My mom is Liberian. She's African.
Okay.
And my dad is he's Jamaican 100%.
Is Liberia, is that West Africa?
That's West Africa.
Okay.
Yep, yeah, you know your shit.
You already know.
Yeah, West Africa, 100%.
Right.
My mom she moved here as an immigrant when she was a teenager, learning everything. And she told me her siblings and her mom came out here on barefoot, and they had to figure it out.
So your mother and your father was both from other countries. Your father was Jamaican, your mother was Liberia. So tell me about, were they very hardworking people, upstanding citizens that, regular traditional jobs, or, what type of childhood did you?
My mom never really kept a job. My mom, she tried to do little jobs here and there, but my mom was a hustler.
She was a hustler.
If she worked a job, she ain't gonna work it long. She'll probably work for a little bit and quit. But my mom was a queen. She was a queen pan. She was lit. She
queen
was
pan.
She was in the
wow.
streets.
Like, so when you say hustler, I thought you meant like she multiple jobs.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you meant.
No,
what you mean? So you mean a queen pan? Like she was
out here. She was out here. She was
for
in
real.
the drug game. She was in the street. Anything she could sell, she'll sell it. And, even like merchandise, clothing. I mean, I learned, I got a lot of my hustle from her.
Did you know what she was into when you was growing up?
Yeah. It was, she tried to hide it from us, but I had two older brothers that used to put me down, put me on game, and, just tell me what's happening and stuff like that. And then, even when, the feds is in town and shit like that, it was like a big thing. We didn't have social media back then, so the word got around. Like we would hear stuff through family members. Hey man, feds in town, and uncles leaving town.
You gotta move different.
Moving different. You become a product of your environment, and it becomes your norm. You know what I'm saying? So.
Wow.
And then my dad at the time, he was in prison. So.
Your dad was in prison when you were growing up?
Yeah. So I was being born, and my dad was shipped to prison, Tallahassee prison.
Wow.
So that was a big blow.
What was your dad in prison for?
Drug trafficking.
Trafficking?
Yeah, drug trafficking and, cocaine trafficking.
How much time did he do?
He did over 12 years.
More than a decade.
More than a decade. I want to say he did more than that, because when I met him, I was a teenager. When I finally like met up with him outside of the walls.
Outside of the walls.
Yeah.
Did you ever see your father when he was in prison?
Absolutely. We used to see him like at least every couple months.
You remember going to see your father in prison?
Absolutely. Yep. All of my pictures are behind the wall on the yard.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So my mom tried to keep it a secret as long as she can. But, when you go in and the door closes in front of you and closes behind you, and then you go through you go in and you're like inside of the little portal, and the door closes behind you, opens in front of you, and then everywhere you go is just like super secure. It's maximum security, and like as a kid, you're gonna figure it out. Like,
wow.
What is this?
Was he in state prison or federal prison?
Federal. He was in federal prison. And
it was in Florida?
It was in Florida, yeah.
Okay. So what age were you around this time?
I think I was like, when I first started really visiting them and started remembering, it was like 4 or 5.
Okay.
All the way up, like we got so many pictures. Like that's why I rock with pictures and stuff like that, because memories, Polaroids. I got pictures with the family, with me, my mom, my dad, and I'm in the middle. He got the green jumpsuit.
Because every time you go there, you take pictures.
Yeah.
I already know.
You got the little background, a little fake backdrop.
I understand.
You feel me? So, yeah, real talk, man. Like, sometimes it'll be like a little nice little, they'll have it set up. Florida different, so they have like a little setup to where you take pictures right there. It look like he's in the free world. But it's really not.
I used to have to take those pictures with my children, so I feel you.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you, so when you got up to when you was getting older, 9, 10, 11 years old, and you could really understand what was going on more, do you remember how that made you feel about your father? Did you feel some type of way, or what was your understanding of your father being in prison?
I understood he was in prison, but the context of what he was in prison for made me respect him. You know, like most people would have been resented their parent and stuff like that. But I'm like, damn, he went down. He went down as an immigrant, and he was a hustler. You know, he went down for the hustle. He didn't do no shiesty shit. He wasn't
telling.
He wasn't doing telling. He wasn't like trying to go kill somebody on some like, you know, psycho shit. You know, he wasn't on no bullshit or no active shooter type shit. He was a hustler first, and that made me respect him. Like, damn, even though you got caught, it just is what it is. You know, that was just the way you could make the most money for your family. You know, and this was the drug that was the most in demand at the time, and you got caught up. But he got caught up in such a unhonorable way. It was like, it made me lose respect, not for him, but for somebody else that's in my family.
How did that happen? What do you mean in a dishonorable way?
Well, I have an uncle that actually told on him.
Okay.
I actually ratted on him, and that ruined my family. And
wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I've always had I want to say I've always had like something against people that snitch and stuff like that. If you do the crime and you choose to be in the streets, then you're signing a certain, you know, this is a contract, you know, like you choosing to be in the streets. If you're doing some dirt or you doing anything to make some money, you don't tell on one another. You take it like a G.
Right.
And he copped out. He took less time, and you know, and my dad had to pay for the rest.
Right.
You see what I mean? So he did a little time, and he got out, was able to raise his kids, and you know, which all my cousins, and I love them to death. You know what I'm saying? But as far as him, I just have no respect for him. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Did you know that side of the story when you were that young, or did you understand that as you got older?
I started understanding as I got older, because I started looking into it. You know, I started asking other cousins, like, what happened? And eventually, when I got old enough, like when I became a teenager, I asked him. And first I asked my mom, because my mom, you know, she me and her tight. So I was like, what really happened? You know, like who told on who? Did somebody snitch? And what happened? And she was like, yeah, like for a long time I ain't say nothing, but your uncle said something.
Right.
He would have got away if your uncle ain't say shit.
Right.
Didn't cooperate. So my dad was a very loved individual in the family, because he was a fly nigga. Like he was a get money nigga.
All right.
Where you know, he had the deep Jamaican accent, you know what I'm saying? The girls loved him. He wear the button down shirts. He was like, go out to the Jamaican clubs. He was lit. And
all right.
And you know, my grandfather, it really hurt him. His father, yeah, he was really like bothered by that, because he felt like he had so much personality and so much style, he shouldn't be up in there. So, but he held it down, and he kept, one thing I respected, he never let us see him break.
Gotcha.
While we visit him. So
right.
I respected that shit.
Right. So I'm curious, so during that time when you were going to see him, you're 10, 11 years old, you've been going to see your pops for a long time, you know he was in there for honorable means, like you said, maybe it was against the law, but he was trying to do something for his family.
Yeah.
That's why most people, in my opinion, end up selling drugs or what have you. They're trying to, you know, they're trying to provide for their family. So do you remember what your mindset was at that time? Like, were you ever thinking, I got to get this street money? Or did you have any type of particular mindset at that time on how you were going to make money when you became a man, when you were older, when you had to provide for your own family? At that time, you were going to see your father.
Yeah. I felt like I always embedded that hustler spirit. And that made me feel like, okay, well, my mom ain't got no man here. And it's two of my older brothers and me. So we gotta go to school. We gotta go cut yards. We gotta do whatever we can to make some money. And eventually, you know, cutting class and cutting yards. You know, I used to leave school just to go knock on people's doors to go cut yards. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
$10 for the front, $10 for the back. We'll do that shit because we need to make some money. And, you know, like sometimes I overhear my mom saying, you know, need to get the lights, you know, money for the lights and stuff like that. And now, mind you, my mom was a hustler, and she was getting money when it was up, it was up. You know, she went to Disney World and all kind of shit. But but when it wasn't good, it wasn't good. So, you know what I mean? Like, there was definitely a lot of ramen noodle date nights and bologna sandwich nights. You know, there's times when shit's slow and it's a drought. It just is what it is. There's nothing you could do about it. You just gotta hustle. So that made me realize, damn, my mom got a lot of responsibilities. Like, she had 3 boys, she had no help, and it's just her. You feel me? So I jumped off the porch around 13, and I played sports.
When you say jumped off the porch, explain that. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by jumped off the porch?
Jumped off the porch, like, I was outside, like, I was hanging out with different types of people because my mom, she was the type of person, she didn't just keep us in one environment. She had us in the projects. Sometimes she'd take us to the suburbs. Like, she wanted us to understand different walks of life. So a lot of her friends was in the projects, and we'll go out there with kicking. Now I meet people, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, y'all go outside. We used to go get $5 haircuts in the projects, you know, Central Park projects. So we'll go get our haircuts and we'll be kicking it. And a lot of the times, you know, we made connections in different ways. And my idea of like jumping off the porch was like, you hanging out with some people that you probably shouldn't be hanging out with, and then it only take one person to be like, hey man, I know somebody that got some work at their house, or I know somebody got some computers or some TVs at their house. Let's break in their house. You know, we used to kick doors, and we used to, you know, sell weed, all kind of shit, sell anything we could sell.
Okay, so you were hustling too.
I was hustling. Yeah.
Did you ever get in trouble for the hustling?
Gratefully, no. I was so worried that I would go down like my dad and my mom.
Okay.
You know, my mom, I didn't tell you that, but my mom been in prison too for drug trafficking and conspiracy and racketeering. Okay. So.
Racketeering, that's what Trump is charged with, right?
Yep.
RICO Act.
RICO, yep.
Young Thug too, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, racketeering, drug conspiracy. My mom, she had to be away from my brothers for some years, and my grandma had to take care of them.
Okay.
And so
this was before you were born? Or?
Yeah, it was before I was born. And around that time when I was born, she beat the RICO due to lack of evidence.
Wow.
No cameras, no recordings, but they were just pursuing her because of who she was working with. You know what I'm saying? And when I was born, Mom was like, look, I'm about to go back and I'm gonna get all my kids and we're gonna be a big family again. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So it was rough, man. I ain't gonna lie. It was, but when she hit big and she hit a big lick, we go Disney World, we kicking it. Mom, dudes like, she like to shine. All right. She like to shine. See, the funny thing about it is my mom like was the type of person like, she'll be broke 1 month, but the next couple months she'll be balling.
She's up all the way up.
She'll hit a lick crazy. Like she might not go to the stores and ball out, but she'll pay a booster. Right. You know what I'm saying? Niggas are stealing some shit. Come through, sell the shit. Hey man, look, got you a jersey for $20. Yeah, you dressing good.
Name brand on.
Name brand. You like got you a little Tommy Hilfiger shirt, a little jersey, a little Penny Hardaway. You feel me? But yeah, it was real. It was when I jumped out the porch, man. I was hanging around a lot of different types of people, and it was survival at that moment for me. You know.
Okay.
Real talk.
So I know you didn't stay in the streets. Mm-hmm. Do you think some of the things that you saw your parents go through, and the up and the down, and not really, you know, not having just consistency? Do you think that led to like your drive or your level of discipline now? Mm-hmm. Like, take me on that journey. How did you transition from, like you say, from when you jumped off the porch, you doing this and that through your childhood, teenage years, young adult? Mm-hmm. How did you get to the point to where you just really started focusing on music and producing and becoming the successful person that you are today? Was it a mindset change? What was it?
Man, it was really jail, honestly. I went to jail not for selling weed, but I went to jail for something totally I was so mad at myself for going to jail for.
What was it?
But it was fighting, deadly assault with a deadly weapon.
Oh.
And I'm like, damn, I got a violent crime on me now, you know what I'm saying? Which is heavier, which can be heavier time than a little misdemeanor weed charge, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm like, fuck. And this was at high school. This is in high school, and so I caught my first charge. I mean, I've been when I was like a teenager. I got caught juvenile shit, but that didn't really count. It didn't really stick on your record. But I had got jumped at a high school one day. At the I want to say before the last day of school, I got jumped by these guys, and I wanted my get back. You know what I'm saying? The person that orchestrated the fight, I waited until the last day of school. It was maybe a week and a half last day of school. And the person that orchestrated the fight, I waited until the period rang and lunchtime. And there was some girls, I had a homegirl that was, she was like my dog. She was like my sis. She was solid. But she had a problem with a girl. And I was she was like, man, I got a problem with this chick. She keep fucking with me. I'm like, man, listen, I got a problem with somebody too. I got jumped. She was like, yeah, them dudes had jumped on you on some other shit for a girl or some lame shit. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pop it off on them. It's last day of school, I'm gonna get off on them. And she was like, well, shit, I want to get off on this girl. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, look. So I told her, I said, look, this is what you do. I said, the bell gonna ring, and the dude that set me up, he was in my class.
Okay.
So we waited till the bell rang, and she went and popped off on the girl and swung on her. And he's distracted, oh, look at the girl.
Right.
So
right.
I used to wear two shirts. We used to wear the XXX T-shirts.
Right.
Black tee, white tee. I used to wear all black all the time, black Air Forces, Jabos, you know what I'm saying? And I had an extra shirt, and I threw a shirt over his face. I had a wrench in my pocket, and I hit him in the face with a wrench. You know what I'm saying? His face was all bloody. And next thing I know, I look back, it's a fucking top flight security at the high school hawking me down, running down, trying to chase me and shit. And I kept running, I'm running. And he was like, man, you can't beat me, man. I'm in the car. He was in a little golf cart. You can't beat me, man. You can't outrace no golf cart. Come on, you ain't gonna be in trouble, bro. Come on. I was like, all right. I trusted him though because he was a cool dude. Man, they locked my ass up, man. They locked me right on up, man. Okay. They sent me to DeKalb County. So I had to sit down. I costed my mom and costed her some money and had to do the bail bondsman thing. I was like, damn. I'm going down the same path as my dad, man. I'm fucking up. So from that point on, I'm like, I gotta find something better to do than to fight, fighting niggas just to get a little bit of, just to feel better about my ego. You see what I'm saying? Because high school was so fake that you beat somebody up, then you're the most popular person in school. You feel me? If you get your get back, then it's because if you get jumped or you get beat up, they man, you the one that got beat up, pick on you a little bit. Right. But when you get your get back, now you the top dog. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I was fed into that. Man, I ain't gonna. It's the last day of school. They gonna remember me.
Right.
So they remember me. And I remember my mom went through so much, man, because they sent me to alternative school.
Wow.
We had teacher conference and all the people that was involved in the fight, we was all in a circle, and then all the parents was like, yeah, we want him out. We want him out of the school. Wow. I see the dude with a big old gash in his head sitting across from me, pointing me out, yeah, he did this. He be starting with me, and I'm like, damn, this dude snitching on me, boy, goddamn.
Right. This is the same dude that jumped you earlier.
Same dude that jumped me with 3 other dudes. So, and I took mine like a G, I still got a scar on my face from that jump. So at the end of the day, it's I took it. I ain't called no authorities, no cops, nothing. I just wanted my get back.
Right.
You know what I mean? So from there, I was like, man, I watched my mom go through that pain. And I was like, damn, I need to change. I need to actually get me a little job or something. Start making some beats. And, you know, get right. You feel me?
That's what's up. So you feel that when you got locked up, was that like a turning point for you?
It was reality. Because I went to jail and it was a bunch of like, you know, most people like, oh, you go to jail, it's all bad. It wasn't bad for me, man. Like I walked in there and it was a bunch of older cats in there like, man, the fuck is you doing here, bro?
Okay,
like,
cats that knew you.
Yeah.
From a young head.
Yeah, like what you doing here? Like you, and even people that didn't know me, they was like, bro, you baby face nigga, like what you doing in this motherfucker? Like, don't throw your life away, bro. Don't even do that, man. Just you in here for fighting. You at school, you supposed to be learning. You in here for fighting and shit. He's like, nah, don't do that because you gonna end up like me. I be in and out of here, and I've been coming to jail since I was your age, and I'm 30 something now. I'm 40 now. You know, so I was learning from that shit.
So that's pretty dope. So when you got locked up, you was young. There was old cats in the joint that was like giving you good advice.
Good advice.
But they didn't want to see you come back.
They didn't want to see me come back.
And they didn't even know you.
They didn't know me.
Right, well, that's good to hear.
It was cool. It was some cool cats. And a lot of people like to paint the picture and say, yeah, jail, it's gonna be so bad. Everybody's gonna be cutting and stabbing each other. And that is happening in like in the jails and the prisons and stuff. It is happening, but it's like if you're not coming in there with your chest all poked out and trying to be the hardest nigga in the world, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna meet some cool dudes in there that got a similar story as you. Everybody's trying to get the fuck up out of there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even the ones that got the worst charges, they trying to get the hell up out of there. You know, so
that's what's up. They want to come home.
They want to come home to their fam. So I took that shit early on, and I'm like, damn. I just kept thinking about my dad. I'm like, damn. My dad called me, speaking that Jamaican shit, talking, boy, going in like what are you doing? Like you following the wrong footsteps. Okay. You fucking up. So get your shit together. But it used to go in one ear out the other because I'm like, I used to think like, how you gonna give me advice from the walls?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But it still meant something, you know? It was just that young nigga,
right? Young
wild nigga shit in me, like, man, I'm outside. Fuck going on.
Right.
I fuck with my dad, but now I'm outside, man. Like, so I was still doing little shit, but I had to bump my head a couple times, have a couple close calls. I remember one time I had hit a lick for a QP. And
what is QP? What do you mean by that?
Quarter pound.
Okay.
So we call them QPs and cuties.
Okay.
And somebody was like, man, this girl, she was a little grimy little chick, but she was fucking with me. She liked me a lot.
Right.
And she was like, man, this dude, he keeps smoking me out, man. He a lame ass nigga. And she gave me the drop on him.
Okay.
And I went and I pulled up and poked the windows at the door, and I broke in, and he had a little QP under his bed.
Right.
She told me exactly where it was at. I did it. I gave her like an ounce out of the QP.
Right. And that was your come on.
And that was my shit. But I remember when I had got the QP, it was so loud, like it was stink. Back then, I mean, it's not loud now because niggas were smoking mid and bullshit back then, but I was driving and 12 pulled up right behind me. The police pulled up behind me, man. And I was like, fuck, man. So off the grace of God, like I had I had a spare tire. I had it on the inside of my spare tire. And I don't know how the hell he didn't smell it.
Oh, he pulled you over?
He pulled me over. He was like, hey. I mean, my tags was bad and everything. It was fucked up, bro. Like my tags was expired. Like it was not good, man. So he's like, hey, your tags are expired. What are you doing? I could really tow your car right now. I was like, man, please, man, I just got a job. Like I'm about to pay it. Like, my bills. Like I'm about to get a check. I work up the street. Man, he let me off. He said, hey, look. Take care of that tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday. Take care of that shit. The courts open up, whatever. I was like, look, I got the money right now. It costs $200 to transfer everything. He's like, all right, I got you. I'm gonna let you go. Man, I was like, whew. I was like, yeah. And I still didn't learn from after that too. I just kept playing on the wild side, man. I kept playing on the wild side. I just ain't, on the grace of God, I just ain't get caught for a lot of things I was doing.
Right. So when did you come to the realization or like the determination to where you were gonna have the discipline to just like follow what you really like what you're doing now and stop playing in the streets? Was it any one thing or was it?
It was. It was an event where, you know what I'm saying, I used to move around. I used to go state to state, and I remember going down south from Alabama, and man, the amount of time, if I would have got pulled over, I would have had football numbers. I would have been in there, you know what I'm saying, right along with my dad. So I survived a couple trips, and after that, I was like, I'm out of it. You know, I'm done with it. This ain't it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you gotta look the part and shit. You feel me?
Right.
You can't be looking hot. You gotta stay in the white lines and shit. You gotta drive straight. You gotta make sure. I mean, I used to be so nervous that I had to get myself and shake myself out of it. Like I turn on shit like John Mayer or some shit on state to state because I don't want to hear no low vibration while I'm doing such a high level crime. You see what I mean? So this dude, my mom's used to be friends with this guy named Lenny that got caught for trafficking, and he did a lot of. He just got out actually. I want to say like a year ago. He did like 10 years, but he got caught for trafficking. I think it was like heroin or something. And according to my mom told me he was kind of sloppy. You know what I'm saying? Like he would do a lot of partying and shit like that. And I didn't care. I was like, man, I ain't gonna get caught like that. I cared about not getting caught so much because my dad got caught, my mom got caught, my uncles got caught. So I'm like, if I be slicker and I invest into not getting caught, then I ain't gonna get caught. You know what I'm saying? So my last trip, I remember I was going from Alabama to Florida, down by Destin, and I was playing John Mayer. Because think about it, you listen to rap music and he's like, I'm selling dope, I'm doing this, I'm kill him up, shoot him up. You listening to all that shit, and you might attract the police, man.
Right.
Because of the vibrations of the drums, the vibrations of the message. You might get pulled over. You know, like you bobbing your head, you making yourself very visible to the police. You driving fast. I mean, some of them beats is like real fast. So you're driving fast, you're swerving. Now you're getting pulled over. Now you're doing 1,000 years. And I wanted to listen to soft rock. I wanted to listen to some cool, smooth shit, some John Mayer type shit. And that shit used to get me through my trips. And after that, I said, fuck this shit. And, you know, it's over with.
Yeah, that's something. That's funny. That's interesting that you say that because I listened to a brother named Nehemiah Davis. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he gives a lot of good game, and he talks about a diet, like a winning diet. So would you say, and a winning diet is everything that we take in, that we allow our eyes to see, people that we associate with? Would you say, it sounds like that's like you saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like what you listen to affected your mindset at the time.
Definitely.
Would you say that has like something to do with like your level of success, now? Like what type of things do you listen to, or like what's your mindset?
My mindset is take the protein, cut the fat. You see what I mean? So it's like,
all right,
you could listen to drill music, but take the message. Some people listen to music just for the beat. Cause the beat hard, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you digesting a little bit. Like it's just like drinking like a Simply lemonade or something. Tastes good, but you know that you're exposing yourself to artificial flavors. You see what I mean?
Right.
So it's like you gotta understand that, all right, like I'm gonna take this portion of the music and I'm gonna digest it. The other shit, the drill, I'm gonna drill them up, I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna follow that. But I do like the music of it, or I do like this, or I'm just enjoying myself. You see what I mean? So as long as you have balance, you good, but it could definitely affect you. Like if you doing something that's gonna cost you your life and your freedom, or if you doing something that or you upset with somebody and you listening to shoot them up, bang, bang, kill them, you might want to fight them even more.
Right.
You might want to do something dangerous. You know what I'm saying? It might not feel like it's affecting you, but I remember we used to be fighting in the club listening to Nuck If You Buck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was the theme song. Almost every time that song played, we was in the club fighting. Prime time,
Right.
we busting heads. We listening to Head Busters,
Yeah,
we
you
scrappy.
ready to go.
We fighting. We there's times where I just pop it off on niggas I don't like. Oh, he's looking at me crazy. I'm popping it off on him and we going in. You know what I'm saying? Just music is so influential, and I think a lot of people, they don't really take that serious. They don't take the vibrations of the music serious, you know?
Right.
So you got to be very careful on how you soundtrack your day. Sometimes I wake up, I might listen to Otis Redding, I might listen to some Curtis Mayfield or something, yeah, Diamond in the Back, just to kind of smooth out my day. You feel me?
That's what's
Like
up.
shit, Earth, Wind, and Fire, you know, all kinds of people, man. And then sometimes I'll get to the trap music, like when I'm going to turn myself up at the gym or something, all that good shit.
So what type? I mean, you've obviously been through. You've been through some things, some hardships, some pain.
Yeah.
Having your father in prison and just living that lifestyle. So what type of things would you? The type of advice would you be able to give someone that might have a parent that's in prison, or might be out there in them streets? They done jumped off the porch, but how would you be able to like convince somebody that's staying in the streets? Like if you really want to reach your highest potential, the streets is not really, you ain't gonna get nothing out of it, not long term. What would be your advice?
My advice would be everybody is not gonna get as lucky as the last person. You know what I'm saying? Like you might take that chance and you might listen to a story like this, like listen to your story, listen to my story, and see like, oh, these guys are in the free world. They doing their thing. They obviously doing better for themselves. They got businesses, shit like that. So I can play on the wild side and I can get back to this. But it might not be as simple for you. You might get caught the first time you do some bullshit. And it might not look good for you. And I mean, I've seen people literally make one mistake, catch one body, and serving 10 plus years.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Self-defense. I got a homie that caught a body doing with self-defense. Somebody came to his house, and the fact that he shot them in the back, he had to serve 10 years.
Wow.
It was murder at first, but they dropped it to manslaughter.
Okay.
But they had to give him a minimum of 10 years because where he shot the person.
Okay.
And they came to his house and he was babysitting.
Wow.
See what I mean? He had his niece and nephews and everybody, and they was throwing bricks at his house and trying to like taunt him to come outside, and he came out.
Gun blazing.
Gun blazing, and his homie was on the roof shooting. They gave him a lot more time.
Wow.
But only reason why they gave my homie less time because that was his house. You see what I mean?
Right.
So it might not turn out. That's what I'm saying. People that led up because that was gang activity. You feel me? Like wasn't in gang mode because he was actually playing a video game.
Right.
But that beef started with a bunch of rah-rah. Oh, he got jumped. He got in a fight. All right, boom, now we coming to your house. It escalated. So
Right.
my advice to people would be, it might not be, don't jump in this shit unless you really cut from it, because you gotta, it's tough, man. Like if I ain't have the background and the cloth that I come from, I probably would have been got caught for something.
Right.
And did hella time.
Right. Right. Sounds like everything that's glitz ain't glamour.
It ain't.
Yeah.
And you got to get out when you can. Like, and there's an ending to this shit. So nobody wants to be a kingpin forever. Like you gotta be an exit, man. You gotta be an exit plan. A lot of these guys, they'll get this money, get diamonds, gold, jewelry, cars, all this shit, and they don't know where to stop. They don't know where they want to exit. So they go hard for this many years, and then boom, now you indicted.
Right.
you ain't want to exit. You feel me?
Right. Better have an exit strategy.
Better have an exit strategy, goddamn. Everything comes to an end. I mean, if we all got a death certificate one day, shit, maybe plan on the wild side, have a death certificate too. Maybe you should exit it and then clean it up. Cause put your money into Airbnbs, real estate, flip a house, flip a car. Do what you got to do. Try to clean it up so just in case if you don't got kids and then you eventually have kids, they can see the cleaner side of you instead of you know what I'm saying? Because me seeing, it was a blessing for me to see the real side of my family because it was forced like that.
Right.
But now that I'm a little older now, I can be like, all right, I'm from the street, but I ain't got to be of the street.
Right.
So if I bring somebody else in this world, if I bring a child in this world, then they can see that I got a couple businesses now. You know what I mean? Right. And then now I could put my child and my family, my wife, into a position where, okay, you want my studio, you got my studio. You want my business, you got my business. Now we can work as a family business. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
that's what's up. That's pretty dope, man. That's dope information. Appreciate you sharing.
Appreciate it.
I want to give you an opportunity to tell people where they can find you, let them know your social media handles or whatnot, how they can find you. If you got any other, things that you're working on that you want to just, give them a little sneak preview.
Absolutely.
Just take a minute or so to do that.
I am Tampa Boi Beatz. That's all through the social medias, Instagram. You can find me on Apple Music, Instagram, Tampa Boi Beatz. That's boy with an I, Beats with a Z. Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon Music, all everything, man. We got beats, we got songs. I'm working on TV and film placements. Fire Department Studios is the studio that's in Marietta. We do your mix and mastering, your beats, production, all that shit. So tap in with me, man.
All right. Y'all heard it here first from Tampa Boi Beatz, giving y'all that real game. I hope y'all was eating it up from the streets to the beats. That's right. We got him right here. He came at y'all, giving it to y'all live in effect, uncut. That's how we do it on In and Out. You know where you can find us. You can check us out for the replays on social media, all social media platforms. You can check us out on YouTube. It's INNOUTWW. That's In and Out WW. And once again, appreciate you coming out and peace.
Peace.